One of the criteria for understanding life is to be able to work on it in a manageable whole. We can talk about the globe, but that's kind of inaccessible and daunting. It's worth researching, but I think every great civilization that lasted for more than a few hundred years was a storytelling civilization. What stories do is, and if they're rich stories, is that we as individuals, as a culture, as a community, have to be participants in the story or else they're abstract. And so what happens when we make them abstract, like the TV news, it's out there, we remove ourselves from the story. And as a result, we're no longer participants in the system and we're disenfranchised from the system. I feel we need to actually turn the environmental movement on its head and actually not make people feel bad about what's going on out there, because that doesn't change people. It changes some of us, but we're not happy about it. What we're really happy about is being excited about being in a relationship again. And this is why actually helping people fall in love with the places they live automatically gets you to talk about carbon neutrality, because it's a whole. You can't heal an ecosystem unless you're healing yourself. And what's interesting, if you try to heal an ecosystem, you're going to heal yourself because you inevitably understand it's about a relationship. Let me tell you the story, because I think this is useful. For me, it was a big aha. I came back from Europe, my college, trips to Europe, and I had thousands of photographs like architects do, and I wondered why, as I looked at all these slides, why I had all these pre-industrial architecture shots. I'm trained in modernist architecture, and yet it's kind of what Prince Charles going through the same kind of thing, all this great old stuff. So why am I taking all this great old stuff? Why all these photographs? And the common denominator, it seemed to me, was that they were all built by a master builder. One guy internalizing local culture, local economy, local materials. Wow, I want to be a master builder. And yet, within 2 seconds you realize we live in an age of specialization. And how do we put that back in the bottle? Well, we're not going to. And this age of specialization has given us a lot of great things, but we lost a lot of things too. And what we lost is the ability to think in wholes. So that's what led me to think about integrative systems and working with the building systems and the mechanical system and what we do with the windows and the water systems. And logically, you go out to the next level. So, we're talking about sustainability. Well, we got to be working on the site, we got to be working in the watershed, in the community. And that, to me, was the gigantic aha, is that here's the aha. Where do you stop integrating? And so what's the purpose of life? That's what begs the question, what's the purpose of life? And the purpose of life is to discover that we're united and that we're whole and that we're part of each other. I think what has happened in slow motion since I graduated from college is that I've been looking for meaning in architecture and meaning in our communities. And when it comes right down to it, it's how we are in relationship with each other that creates that meaning. And then how do buildings and community planning catalyze that? And the green building movement for me has been revelatory, better than any religion or spiritual tradition for me. This is my spiritual journey, is just making that discovery through this process of understanding. And this transformation will not happen unless an individual changes inside. Our practice is about healing ecosystems and the human spirit, because it's a whole. You can't heal an ecosystem unless you're healing yourself. And what's interesting, if you try to heal an ecosystem, you're going to heal yourself because you inevitably understand it's about a relationship. And that's a story. There's a narrative arc there, and you're building on your past, your mistakes, your positive things. You're seeing patterns there. You're saying, how does that let us into our present condition? And now, what's the potential to move forward based on what we know? And that's incredibly important, because the story is not an abstract thing that you're telling. Here's your story, and I'll read you a bedtime story. It's you're actually developing the story with the members of the community. And the resonance is really what gives people hope. And this is about developing hope. This is not about guilt. The problem with the environmental movement pretty much has been it's been about guilt. You should be doing this. Why aren't you doing that? And here we're saying, but here's the potential if we do this. And here's how to be in relationship, and here's how to be in love, if you will, with the place that we live. As long as we can tell people what to do or make believe that it was something different, it removes our engagement and, if you will, our obligation to acknowledge that we are inextricably part of what happened in the past and where we're going in the future.